Hare Krishna, let me tell you the story of this deity. I had him carved in 2004 in Vrindavan, India, during the month of Kartik. And when I had him carved, he was carved out of marble, a grey marble. He wasn't black. And I was promised he would be ready within a few days. Anyway, the days turned into about 3 weeks. And anyway, I went back to the shop who I commissioned the service to, and he said, "Listen," he says, "every day you're coming in here asking me for the deity, and when Thakurji is ready, he will appear. He will, he'll be ready." So I says, "Well, I'm feeling a bit despondent because I don't have much time left in Vrindavan, and I'm scared he's not going to be ready by the time I leave, and I don't know when I'm going to come back to India." So he said, "Okay, meet me at 6 o'clock in the morning outside his shop." So 6 o'clock the next morning, as arranged, he arrived. I can't remember the gentleman's name. And he had this little banged up scooter. We jumped on the back of it and he took me into the darkest regions of Vrindavan, down these alleyways. And there was just people loitering around the streets, and it was very bizarre. Anyway, he pulled up next to this door, and I went inside, and with the shop keeper, and there on the floor was this man with this deity between his feet, and he was carving him. And he said, "There's your deity." And I was a bit shocked because the Thakur deity was actually between his feet, and he was using his feet as a vice to hold the deity in place while he carved. Anyway, that's their rasa, I guess. Anyway, I got the deity a few days later, all blacked up and absolutely beautiful, but there was a problem with his eyes. His eyes didn't seem correct for the Radharaman deity. Because if you look at Radharaman pictures, I'll show you. You can see the actual eyes there. They look completely different from the deity, from the eyes that I had on the deity. So what I did, I made some out of cardboard, and I stuck them on the deity's face, and he looked like the Radharaman in the temple. So I was satisfied with the shape and everything. So I went to some Mukutwalas. They make crowns and they carve eyes for deities. So anyway, there I went, and I gave them these pieces of cardboard and told them, can they make eyes for Radharaman? Anyway, this went on for a few days. They made some eyes. I took them back to the deity, and still I was getting a little bit despondent. And I just said, no, guys, Prabhus, this is wrong. These eyes don't look like Radharaman's eyes. Anyway, this went on for days, and I'd spent quite a few hundred rupees on these eyes. And then one day I went into the Radharaman temple itself, and I was studying Radharaman's actual eyes. And then one of the Goswamis, I promised never to tell his name, so I won't mention his name, and I've forgotten it anyway. He came up to me, and he was basically standing next to me, and I was a frequent visitor to the temple. So anyway, I opened my heart up to him, and I said, "Listen, I've got this Radharaman deity, but the eyes, they're not correct, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't look like Radharaman." And then the next day, I went back to the temple, and the Goswami handed me a little package. And in it had these eyes, which are these particular eyes that Radharaman is wearing now. So I found out later that the eyes of Radharaman looked pretty elongated and narrow. And the reason for that is basically perception. If you look at the deity like this, the eyes look narrow and like slits. And then when you look at him like this, his eyes are wide. So what they do on the actual deity, they tilt the eyes forward, so the perspective is that they are thin slits. And that's what attracted me to the deity. So my humble apologies to all those Mukutwalas who I shouted at for getting the eyes wrong. Sorry, that's my parrot. Say hello, Charlie. You got the eyes wrong. I was wrong. Imperfect senses. Hare Krishna.